We already know how to use the filters to select the minimum and maximum part sizes for our spec, but what if the range of sizes include parts that are not permitted in our spec? For example, if that range of 1 to 6 inch pipe contains non-standard pipe such as 3.5 or 5 inch piping. For this, we have the Edit Part tool, which allows us to further refine the contents of our spec sheet. So let's go ahead and open our spec. So we're going to navigate to Desktop, Exercise Files, and 0205. We're going to Edit Parts, and we're going to open our LinkedIn spec. So we don't need to have the catalog part for this, so I'm just going to minimize that and give us more room in our spec window. So let's go down to our piping. So to look at the parts that we have, we can either double click that or we can use the Edit Parts. So look at the filtering here. We had initially filtered this for 1 inch to 12 inch, but you can see there's some non-standard pipe sizes in here that we don't want to have available to our designers. So what we're going to do is highlight some of these. So let's take out the 1.25 inch. We're going to take out the 3 inch, 3.5 inch, and the 5 inch. These are the pipe sizes that we don't want to use since they're non-standard and expensive if you do need to use them. So we're going to just take them out altogether. And to do that, tick them and say apply. So you can see that this has further refined that list. We're still running between 1 inch and 12 inch, but we've managed to refine it a little more. If we uncheck the hide parts that have been marked removed from the spec, you'll see that this is the entire range of sizes, right up to 60 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and hide those again. So another thing we can do is while we're in this section here, we can add additional material. If there's any fields that were empty in the catalog, for example, we don't have any material information here. So I'm going to go ahead and just add CS in here for carbon steel. So to complete this for the selection, you can just use copy paste like you would in normal Excel and just use Shift to mark all the cells and just do a Control V. And now that we have this carbon steel, anytime that we have this running in our model or we have a pipe run in the model with this, we can look and see that it actually is carbon steel. I'm going to apply that. Now I want you just to have a look at this. I'm going to uncheck the hide parts again. And notice that the carbon steel only applies to the components that we actually have in our spec. So I'm going to check that off again. So one other aspect we have of the Edit Parts, we can add a custom property. So I want you to take a look at the heading along the top here at the various categories that we have. So as I come across here, we can add information such as a manufacturer. We can have material codes. If your purchasing uses an automated system, we can add all the item codes in here. You can see there's a lot of information that we can potentially use for filtering or for reporting. If we want to have something custom in here, we don't want that to be available in the catalog because bear in mind the catalog has to serve every project and every client. So we don't want any project or client specific information stored in our catalog. So just to make a further example of this, let's go to our Edit Properties. So I'm going to add a field in here for LinkedIn and we can see whether or not this component applies to a LinkedIn project or not. So under Display Name, I'm going to type in LinkedIn. I'm not going to have a default value in there. We're just going to leave that blank. And for field size, depending if you want alphanumeric, I'm just going to say 5 in there, and that's going to give me a 5-digit or letter field. And I'm going to add that in, and you should see that it's over here to the added properties. If you click on that, you'll see the values that we filled in, and we're going to say OK. Now I'm going to come back to our pipe again. I'm going to edit parts, and if we slide along here, somewhere in here, we should see a category that says LinkedIn right there. So what we can do is we can say yes for this. Is this a LinkedIn component? Yes. And again, this could be anything you like, and it's just a way that we can use this for reporting. If we want to generate a report that only gives us components that are applied to LinkedIn, we can say just filter by this. And if it says yes, it's on the report, and if it's no, it's not. So let's take a look again at maybe the elbows as well. I'm going to run through one more time where we're going to just check off the sizes that we don't want, 3 inch to 3.5 inch to 5 inch. And I'm going to apply those filters. Then this changes our part sizes again. So we would actually have to go through and do this for all the different components. Same thing with the flanges. You would need to get rid of the odd pipe sizes. So it's a process that you go through once, really. And once it's done, you don't have to go back and revisit that one again. 3.5 inch, and apply. So we're going to come up and we're going to save that spec. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish off making these changes to the using edit parts. I'm going to remove all the extra sizes that we don't need from all the other components in the spec. You don't need to do this. I'll do this, and when you're ready to start with the next chapter, all the work will be completed. So using the Edit Part tool gives us the ability to add even more information to the component at the spec level without modifying the catalog. And this gives us greater flexibility in how we customize our specs on a project-by-project basis.